there's a hidden story behind that pyramid. And honestly, you probably wouldn't even believe me. Like, did you know that it was cursed? And the only reason it is what it is today is because some dude caught a fish. Okay, so somebody thought it was a really super great idea. Let's build a Coliseum type thing that's going to bring in all the people to Memphis. It would have been a good idea, except somebody also says, maybe we should build a pyramid, like the 5th largest pyramid in the world. And then 2 other idiots said, that's a great idea. Now let's go ahead and be honest. Concerts usually go up and out for their seating, not out and in as they go up. So a concert venue wasn't necessarily the greatest choice. Now, if you're going to have a giant pyramid, you should have something cool, like maybe a Hard Rock Café. I know I can't speak. They go ahead and get a Hard Rock Café going to be in there. Here's the thing about the Hard Rock Café part. So the guy who owned Hard Rock Café, he actually drove off a cliff one day and fell like 400 feet. And apparently this Indian shaman held him in his arms the entire way as he's rolling down, and he walked away without a scratch.
Appeared instantly in this room. He picked me up and put me on a bed. He pulled my tongue out. I'm watching this from above. He places his hand on my chest and pushes on my chest, and the spirit went right back into my body.
Now, why is that important? Well, it's kind of important because it's kind of weird. So he actually, in a bookstore, sees the shaman on the back of a cover and goes and searches this dude out in India. And they become friends. Well, he talks to him and says that he's going to open up a hard rock at the top of this pyramid, all this stuff. So they're building the hard rock, they're building the pyramid, they're building all this stuff. Alex Jones shows up.
These guys are admittedly into the occult. You can just look up their names. They're all over the local newspaper.
Yes, that Alex Jones, conspiracy theories, the frogs are gay, that guy. And Alex Jones says that there are devil worshipping and this whole deal, and it's a satanic temple and all this stuff. So the shaman tells the Hard Rock guy, here, I've got something to fix that. Because apparently the building is actually cursed. So he gives him this metal box, and it's got this glass skull and a whole bunch of stuff and everything. He says, have it welded at the very top of the pyramid. So he does. And then later on, they're going through and they're almost done construction. And somebody sees this box welded at the top of the pyramid. And they say, what is that? Nobody knows. Well, they finally get a hold of whoever it is, and they cut it down. And so then they start talking to people. And then the Hard Rock Cafe guy is like, whoa, put that thing back. Put it back now. Because if you don't, that building is cursed, and it will be haunted and all that stuff forever. Now, I'm not saying I believe in curses, plural. Yeah, I think there was multiple. But I'm not one to poke the bear. I mean, if it is cursed, do you really want to undo it? And if somebody got it fixed, I mean, it's a shaman that apparently, his spirit rode down a mountain with the Hard Rock Café guy and saved him from everything, right? Well, they should listen, because it all went down from there. Regardless. Anyway, so it was a massive failure. As a concert venue, the acoustics were horrible because, I mean, it's a pyramid. You couldn't have as much seating. It just really didn't work for anything. So it was just horrible. Finally went bankrupt. And then in comes this dude who's built this fishing thing in Missouri, and it's worldwide. It's called Bass Pro Shops, right? So the Bass Pro Shop guy hears about the pyramid being for sale, and he says, oh, that's awesome. I should do that. That would be cool. I want to buy it. So he goes to find out, and he says, holy crap, y'all want way too much money for it. So he sits there and ponders on it, and he thinks, I think I'm gonna go fishing, because if you're Bass Pro Shops, that's what you should do, right? If you own Bass Pro Shops, you go fishing if you want to think about something. So he goes fishing on the Mississippi River. He ends up being right in the shadow of the pyramid. It's early morning kind of deal, right there and there. He catches a catfish that is, no kidding, it's like this big. I don't have a picture. I should probably look that up because that would actually be beneficial to the story. But he catches this catfish and decides, this is the sign. I'm buying it. And he turns it into the Mecca for rednecks. And yeah, you're probably wondering, is it still cursed? And well, I don't know if it works the same, but apparently rednecks with shotguns and everything coming into your place, you might want to vacate the premises. I don't know. I'm sure Dean Winchester showed up. Maybe him and Sam took care of it. Now, let's be honest. I don't really care. If you're gonna like be a super scared ghost and stuff, I'd just be like, hey, what's up, man? And I'll go back to bed. I am positive that there's been ghosts in some of the hotels I've stayed at, and people have been murdered. It may have been hookers, it may have been the Johns. I don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this. I don't like heights, so I'm not going to the top of the pyramid. Would you stay there? Maybe. Also, my plane's not here yet. I'm not going to the next load. There are no more loads. I'm going home because I don't know. But it happens. By the way, it's called Big Cypress Lodge, Memphis, Tennessee, if you're interested. Sorry, I wasn't able to go do any more videos because it's just been slow and we hadn't had much work going on. So I've been at the house a lot. So instead of getting your normal travel vlog, you just get me telling a little bit of history. Hope you don't mind. Thanks.